Life is hard. But you know whose life is objectively worse? Sloths. These slow-moving, eternally exhausted fur rugs have somehow managed to survive millions of years despite having absolutely no business making it this far. Evolution has been playing an elaborate prank on them since the dawn of time, and yet, here they are, dangling from trees like nature's most happy dimwits. Sloths move at an average speed of about 0.24 kilometers per hour. That's right. Your grandma power walking through the mall is an Olympic sprinter compared to them. If a sloth had to run for its life, it would get outpaced by a melting ice cube. The real kicker, they don't even have a choice. Their bodies are built like they were designed in a rush. Their metabolism is so slow that if they moved any faster, they'd literally starve to death. The simple act of speeding up equals death. Every moment of their existence is dictated by this tragic biology, a constant struggle between survival and, well, not really doing much of anything at all. They have muscles, of course, but their muscle mass is significantly lower than other mammals of their size, making every movement feel like they're waddling through syrup. This means that even when they do move, it's not a smooth, coordinated effort. Rather, it's a slow motion, deliberate, and painstakingly careful event. They simply lack the physical ability to do anything quickly, which, when paired with their low-energy diet, makes them the ultimate mascot for government workers. And the worst part? They don't even have the basic sensory tools to make up for their sluggish existence. Sloths technically have color vision, but don't get too excited. It's about as useful as a pair of sunglasses at night. Their visual acuity is so poor that they can barely distinguish objects. This means they live their entire lives in a blur, like someone who stubbornly refuses to wear their prescription glasses. They probably don't even recognize their own reflection, assuming they can see one in the first place. Their world is just vague shapes and movements. And their hearing? Also terrible. They're not just slow in movement, they're slow in perception. So how do they get around, you ask? Well, mostly by sniffing their way through life like a sleepy bloodhound. They rely on their sense of smell more than anything else, which is quite frankly a hilarious and depressing way to navigate the world. Waking up every day blind to most of your surroundings, ears picking up next to nothing, and your only hope of finding food is to follow a vague leafy scent, while praying it isn't just some random branch you've already chewed on last week. If you ever wonder why sloths don't have complex social lives, well, try recognizing your friends when they all look like abstract paintings. Want to know this creature's next pitfall? Because they move so slowly, algae actually grows on their fur. Not metaphorically, literally. These guys are so inactive that plants have colonized their bodies. They are so slow that the world looks at them and goes, yeah, this is a good spot to set up a small business. The algae, to be fair, do give them a nice camouflage. But let's be honest, if your best defense against predators is maybe they won't notice the plants growing on me, you've already lost. Do you know what other animals use camouflage? Snakes, chameleons, and tigers, all creatures with actual attack plans. Sloths, meanwhile, are just hoping their enemies mistake them for moss. Spoiler, it doesn't always work. Sometimes an eagle or jaguar isn't fooled and suddenly, it's game over. And by game over, I mean an incredibly slow-motion tragedy where the sloth likely doesn't even realize what's happening until it's already halfway to being a meal. What's even funnier about the algae situation is that sloths don't seem to care. In fact, they might even benefit from it. Some scientists suggest that sloths actually eat the algae growing on their fur as a nutritional supplement. That's right, they are so bad at finding food that they've essentially become their own backup meal plan. Like that all wasn't enough, they have fur that grows in the opposite direction of most mammals. Instead of growing toward their extremities, their hair grows toward their backs. Why? Because when you spend your life hanging upside down, you need to adjust your hair game. This fur orientation helps protect them from rain and other elements, proving that sloths have been rocking practical fashion since forever. Something to be happy about, I think. Not that they'd express happiness if they could. Sloths don't exactly do expressions. They wear the same vacant, sleepy look every single day, no matter what's happening. Whether they're safe, in danger, hungry, or full, their face remains a permanent display of mildly inconvenienced. Their only real facial movement is a slow blink, which honestly just makes them look even more exhausted with life than they already are. Nature is not kind to them. If sloths had a Yelp page for their existence, it would have a 1-star rating with reviews like, would not recommend, got eaten by a bird on my way to the bathroom. Because yes, going to the bathroom is a death sentence. Sloths only descend from trees once a week to relieve themselves, and when they do, it's an event. They slowly shimmy down like an elderly man trying to reach the last bag of chips on a high shelf, then squat awkwardly in the open, fully vulnerable to every predator in the jungle. Jaguars, eagles, snakes, you name it, they're all just waiting for the weekly buffet. And for what? To poop out the slowest moving digestive effort in the animal kingdom. Sloths risk their lives for the weakest bowel movement imaginable. It's like watching someone cross a battlefield just to throw a gum wrapper in the trash. Was it really worth the risk? Apparently, they don't have much of a choice. As I mentioned before, sloths have evolved to be arboreal creatures, meaning they spend their lives in trees. However, evolution forgot to make them good at it. Sure, they have those long hook-like claws that help them hang on, but their grip strength is hilariously unreliable. Sloths fall out of trees all the time, not as an emergency measure, not because they were pushed, just because their bodies sometimes forget they exist. In fact, falling is one of the leading causes of death among sloths. Imagine if every third person you knew suddenly dropped to the ground and didn't get back up. That's a sloth's reality. It's like if life had a try again button and theirs was permanently jammed. And don't even think about them climbing back up quickly. No. That would require effort. Instead, they just lie there for an undetermined amount of time, contemplating their life choices before attempting the excruciatingly slow journey back up, if they don't get picked off by a predator first, of course. Given how much effort it takes a sloth to move, it's no surprise that they're not exactly known for their romantic agility. If a male sloth wants to find a mate, he has two options: slowly, painfully drag himself through the trees toward a potential partner, or yell into the void and hope someone hears him. Most sloths go with option 2. The female will let out a weak mating call, and if a male hears it, he'll start his hours-long journey toward her. If another male happens to be around, a fight may occur, and by fight I mean the saddest slap battle you've ever seen. No one is throwing punches here, just lazy swings that barely make contact. The entire event is like watching two tired toddlers half-heartedly swat at each other before giving up. And the reward for all of this effort? A single baby which will cling to the mother for months because it, too, has inherited the curse of moving like a dying Roomba. The baby sloth, equally doomed, just hangs there, learning the ways of absolute incompetence. If it falls off, well, sometimes the mother just leaves it there. Because, picking it back up would require extra movement, and that's just not in the cards. It's survival of the slowest, and not everyone makes the cut. Honestly, no one knows how they're even still here. By all logic, sloths should have gone extinct millions of years ago. They contribute nothing to their ecosystem, they have zero survival skills, and yet they persist. Maybe it's because they don't taste that good. Maybe it's because predators feel bad for them. Maybe Mother Nature is just keeping them around as a cautionary tale. Or maybe, and this is a long shot, sloths have actually cracked the code to existence. They don't stress, they don't rush, and they don't care that their entire life is a dumpster fire. And in the grand scheme of things, maybe that's the real trick to survival. But let's be honest, their life still sucks.